From Charlotte, North Carolina, Hannibal.
No idea what a privilege it is to be here. Thank you guys for having me. Show of woo. How many people here have never seen me before? Okay, how many people here have seen me for the first time? Slightly different crowd. I do card tricks, but I'm not doing card tricks tonight. No, I'm going to do jokes and stories. Is that okay? Everybody's been running through jokes. I thought I'd throw one of my own. Why? Did you hear Michael Jackson's estate is coming out with a line of fine caviars? True, they come on little crackers. Yeah, I love you too. But I didn't do the grandma joke, so it's okay. Don't? No, it'll throw off the other thing. If you want to hear the grandma joke, see me after the show. Trust me, it goes over the line, even for this place. My journey that brought me here, through Beyond Brookledge and the Magic Castle and just the most incredible past 12 days that I've just had, that has been enlightening and refreshing and renewed me in so many ways you can't possibly imagine. The thing that brought me here was my grandfather's kitchen table. Every Sunday after church, me and my Pentecostal family would go, would go to my grandfather's house, and we would have lunch together, and then we would wash dishes together, and we would sit back down and we would talk. And we'd talk for hours. We'd tell jokes, we'd sing with each other. My grandfather would sometimes do card tricks, and that's what got me started way back. I remember the very first thing, my grandfather, with a clearly empty hand, approached me and pulled $1 from behind my ear. First trick I ever saw. And then he told us, all the grandkids gathered around, told us a story. Would you do me a favor? Nice lady here. Would you autograph this for me? Would you mind? It'd be a thing. I'd really appreciate you. Signature, autograph, really big so everybody in the room can see it. Awesome. Yeah. Perfect. Here's a flower. Okay, works out well. Nothing against you. Nothing against you at all. Would you co-sign for her, please? Thank you. Sign your name or your nickname big and bold. No, that's my nickname. Sign, It's okay. One of those nice, professional. Awesome. That old big and bold thing went right by you, didn't it? It's all right. He told a story. He would often tell us fairy tales. This is the one that stuck with me. Anybody here not familiar with the story of the elves and the shoemaker? No. I'll learn you. I'll tell you the way my grandfather used to tell me. Once upon a time, there was this cobbler. Now, a cobbler is a man who makes and sells leather goods, specifically boots and shoes. This one got down to his last dollar. He did what he'd always done before. He took his, I screwed up. I messed up, I'm sorry. I began wrong. Sometimes when you begin wrong, you know it's going to end badly. So See, my grandfather's from the Deep South, born and raised in North Carolina. He would never begin a fairy tale with once upon a time, ever. That's a northern fairy tale. Anything above the Manson-Nixon line? Sorry, I have to begin again. Y'all ain't gonna believe this! But there was once this cobbler that never made any pies. My humor doesn't hit everybody at the same time. It bounces around the room like a pinball. I like it better that way. Good Lord, it's Hannibal. Through no fault of his own, he got down to his last dollar. Poor planning, bad economy, you know. And being No, being a cobbler, he did everything he just knew how to do. He went down and bought himself some leather. He had enough money to buy enough leather for one small pair of shoes. So he bought the leather and he took it home, and being kind of tuckered. You ever get tuckered? You know what I'm talking about? You just get tuckered, just don't want to do nothing. So he put the leather on his workbench and went on to bed. Next morning he got up, and lo and behold, sitting on his workbench was a brand new pair of hand-dyed, hand-stitched leather shoes, so beautiful they was almost magic. And no sooner did he open the shop than the shoes sold, and he made enough money to buy enough leather for 2 pairs of shoes. So he went and got the leather, and he come home, and being more curious than tuckered. You ever get curious even though you're kind of tuckered? No? Yeah, you know what I'm talking about? He thought to himself, well, let's see if it happens again. So he put the leather on his workbench, and he went on with the rest of the night and went on to bed. And next morning he got up, and high and behind, which is the opposite of lo and behold, sitting on his workbench was 2 beautiful pairs of shoes. Well, now this went on, and eventually he regained his former wealth. Being curious people, he and his wife got up to check out what was going on, stayed up late to see what was happening, and discovered that right at the stroke of midnight, a pair of juvenile delinquent vandal elves was breaking into his shop and creating these shoes. Well, now this wasn't an ordinary pair of juvenile delinquent vandal elves. No, they was nudist juvenile delinquent vandal elves. They was naked. No, not naked, no. They was naked. I'm sorry, do you not know the difference between naked and naked?
Yes.
It's all right, I'll learn you if it's all right. See, now, naked is at home.
Yes.
In the shower, changing clothes, sitting on the couch, playing Xbox. That's naked. You remember.
Yes.
Naked's out in public and up to something. Let's not even get into butt naked, because holy crap. That's you in a pickup truck full of your friends.
Yes.
But they was just naked. So the shoemaker's wife takes pity on the poor little naked elves and creates for each of them a suit of clothes. Now you know what happens when you give Dobby a sock. Well, the elves, overwhelmed by this unexpected gift, taught the shoemaker how to make magic elf shoes, and they all lived happily ever after. Yay! Yay! And the moral of the story is you take what you have inside, you take what's in your hands, you take what you've been made to do, and you do it as hard as you can, and you use it to uplift, inspire, and make life better for those that don't. So I took my dollar bill and the generous signatures of the 2 ladies here, and I made myself a magic elf boot. Yeah, all is correct, yes. Now it ain't real magic, but it's cute as hell. And your name was?
Stephanie.
Hi, Steph. I'm gonna tell you the truth, and that don't come easy to me. I've made hundreds of these. I may have made thousands of them. I've made them all over the world. I've made them out of pound notes and euros and German marks and whatever the hell Canadians call their money. I've made it out of those too. But I have never made one exactly like this. This is a one-of-a-kind original Hannibal work of art. Do you know why?
Why?
Because down at the heart inside this one is your signature and hers. In the history of the world, there's never been one exactly like this. It makes the world a little closer. And I'm going to give it to you, okay? Now you can open it and spend it, and it's worth $1. Or you can keep it like that, tell the story to somebody else, remember this night, remember the feeling it gave you, and live forever. Now I'm not here to tell you what to do. But I'm quite certain you'll do the right thing. And let me stress, that's where the journey began. And it all full circle came back around here, where I get to work for you wonderful people. And in case, yes, I agree with the only person who agrees with me. The lone yay in the darkness. Reminds me of my first date. And it was me going, yay! But you got to remember the most important part of the story. It all started with just a simple gesture, where my grandfather walked over to me and with a clearly empty hand reached behind my ear and pulled out $1. But some dollars mean more than others. And this one has signatures on the face of it. You still have your boot, right?
I have my boot.
Magic. And here's the thing. It can't possibly exist there and there at the same time. How incredibly Schrodinger that is. Challenge any other magician to use that word in their act and make it make sense. So we have ourselves not only a thing of beauty, but a thing of mystery. How could it possibly be there and there at the same time? Because love is everywhere. And when I first heard the story of the elves and the shoemaker, I believed it like it was written history. I believed in elves that would make shoes and cookies. I believed in true love and pure magic. I believed in Santa Claus. I bought the whole package. And I got a little older and I became a cynical teenager and I stopped believing in those things. Maybe you have some at home. And I got a little older than that and I found true love. And it lasted for a little while. And in that time, we experienced pure magic and I have 4 children. One of each. Because I'm a goddamn magician. And I told my children to find their abilities and put their passions behind it, and I let them feed on their dreams, and I watched them set their feet on their own little paths, and I set them off, because it's just like the story of the boot. It's not the destination, but the journey, and the companions you meet along the way, and the joy you spread to those people, and what you leave behind, and the way you're remembered. And I found out that not only was Santa Claus real, but quite often he was me. Fucking awesome. And your name was? Erica. I made a small little magic elf boot. And it's not real magic, but it's cute as hell. And I'm going to tell you the truth. And that doesn't come easy for me. I've made hundreds of these. I may have made thousands of them. I've made them all over the world. I've made them out of pound notes and euros and German marks and Canadian. But in the history of me making these little boots, I've never made one quite like this one. This one is a unique piece of Hannibal art, because deep inside of this one is your signature and hers. Maybe. Because maybe it's this one and maybe it's that one and maybe it's both and maybe it's neither. Maybe I've got a scrapbook at home full of signed dollar bills. I'm not saying. But it brings me close to audiences and it lets me leave a little bit of myself behind. And you can take this and open it and spend it. It's worth $1 and you'll solve the mystery, but then you'd have to destroy a thing of beauty to do that. And honestly, the mystery of life is way more beautiful than the solution. And I'm going to give this to you with love, and I'm not here to tell you what to do. Life is magic, and I hope there's love where you are. Thank you very, very much.